Hello everybody and welcome to a late night edition of Banter Blitz with Jan Gustafsson. I'm sorry we're starting so late today. Actually, I'd like to do this more often, but the Chess24 market research team has pointed out to me that it's not a great idea because we lose like 2 of our key demographics if we do this. Obviously, a lot of kids are asleep already, and I believe a lot of crack junkies have sold their internet-enabled devices by now. So I shouldn't be starting shows later than 9 really. But today there was no way around it because of all the live coverage that's going on here. I believe the British Championship has been happening. So now that we've set the tone, let me introduce you to the rules of Banter Blitz. It's very exciting. You challenge me to a 3 or 5 minute game. My username is Jan on Chess24. Hover over it, challenge me. Then I will choose between the many challenges I get randomly, and I will talk a bit about the game. Mainly it's gonna be rambling about whatever caught my fancy or self-conscious stuff like my hair or I don't know. It's a disorganized, slightly messy show. And frankly, I wouldn't watch it if I was you. But now you're here already, so we might as well find the first opponent. This is another very exciting part of the show where I scroll through this invisible list of opponent without being able to ever decide anything. I normally slightly look for people I haven't played yet, and then if I can't find any of those, I just click on something. It is great internet TV, really. Let's start with the lowest rated opponent I could possibly find, and that is the exact reason I chose him. Jean-Paul Sartre, 98. I've heard of Jean-Paul Sartre. Obviously, I haven't read any of his stuff, but I've heard the name. But why 98? Let me look that up. Jean-Paul Sartre, 98. Nah, nothing. He published... Nah. Nothing. Some German publishing company published a Sartre book in 1998, but I'm not sure if that refers to it. Maybe our friend from Argentina whom I'm playing was born in 1998, and therefore he decided to call himself Jean-Paul Sartre and then combine it with his date of birth. But I cannot be sure, so please don't get the wrong idea. I might be speculating here. And I've been doing what has been weirdly, I don't know, sometimes I have these weird fetishes for a while. This has been my default setting. If I play e4, which I don't do much, I like to play the Italian against pretty much everything, ignoring what the opponent does, and it's oddly doable against 2 d6, like he wants to play the knight or for the dragon. But this move bishop c4, I don't know, I think I gotta get rid of this habit. I played bishop b3, also not forced of course, but to not get hit with d5. Now if he plays d5, I could go e5, followed up with c3, d4. So it's a useful little move. And after bishop e7, which he played, I shall go c3. So far, good game by Jean-Paul Sartre. What happened to your rating? Are you new to chess, but an old hand at philosophy? Do we call Sartre stuff philosophy? I'm so uneducated, I should know such stuff. But I already googled Jean-Paul Sartre. If I get rid of the 98, it will probably teach me more about the dude. Yeah, French romancier, philosopher, playwright, novelist, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, as for the position, Jean-Paul Sartre at 98 hasn't done anything wrong. He should go knight c6. As for me, I don't have a direct plan. I normally want to go castles, rook e1, knight f1, knight g3, and then when everything's in place, I might start considering d3 to d4. Not the fastest or most exciting of plans, but it's decent enough because I'm white to get a decent position. Whenever he goes d5, I'm going to go e5 and d4. Rook b8 is sensible. He's trying to grab some space on the queen side. I could stop that or fight it with a4. But I don't really want to. I want to stick with my plan. Rook e1, knight f1, knight g3. Oh, I haven't checked the chat yet if anybody can see me, hear me. All that stuff. Let's see. Give me a heads up if you can. whatever. See me, hear me, anything really. If you can see me, it's good enough. If you can hear me but not see me, that'd be confusing. But also let me know. What else am I interested in? That's about it really. So I'm sticking with the plan, knight f1, knight g3, then maybe h3 if I feel like wasting even more time. And one day I shall go d4. Good news for me is Mr. Jean-Paul Sartre is also taking his time here. Played a6 before b5, no need for that really. Well, now I shall pounce in the center before he goes c4, like breaking up my structure. I didn't want that to happen. He goes h6, and I think I don't really think that much. I'll go here. My plan is e5, queen d3, checkmate on h7 somehow. But I might have to iron. That's a tough word for us Germans. Iron. Not iron, but iron. Very hard to pronounce. e5 is a little early. Knight f5. This is a nice little square for the knight. Rook e8 is more or less forced. Or I thought it was. Maybe it wasn't. But it's still a nice square for the knight. What to do now? It's tempting to sacrifice something, but I can't really make it work. So I'll just send some support to the horsey on f5. Horses on f5 are worth leaving your wife. I believe that is the Garry Kasparov quote. And we can see here that this knight is very powerful indeed. Bishop h6 followed by queen d2 might already be in the air. But yeah, it's just a good position for me. I'm not going to brag too much if I win this game against Jean-Paul Sartre, because he's only 1125, but I'll still brag. Queen d7. The pragmatist in me would go d5, and then after de exchange queens and grab a piece on e7. But I kind of want to checkmate him. Let's go here. Reading the chat, also always a very exciting part of the piece. Looks like someone overtook my old ICC handle. Whatever makes you happy, but you're not premium, so I can't talk to you, even if I wanted to. Rest in peace is asking NBA stuff. No, NBA it's sleepy season now. Let's forget about the NBA until whenever they restart, like September. Like we need 1.5 months a year without NBA stuff. And nah, that young is not gonna fit. What else? Oh, my clock is actually running. See, that's how focused I am. I was planning to checkmate. Is this checkmate? Nah, it's checkmatey. He takes me at my word. You should never do such a thing, because I'm not a very honest person. You can see, because of the late starting time, I'm even slower than usual. Or at least that's how I feel. This is also a bad move, because now after king h7, like that, something's gonna give, but it's not gonna be easy to keep all my pieces. I'm already feeling like this episode, this very exciting episode of Banter Blitz, is not going the way it was supposed to go. Pawn Pusher is asking the question we've all been pondering recently. Who going to win the British Chess Championship 2016? I don't know. Like, there was so much buzz before the event that I really had a very hard time choosing. So if you could maybe just remind me who's playing, because I don't have a clue, then that would go a long way into like picking a winner. But I don't know, isn't Adams playing? I think he's the highest rated. I tend to go with the highest rated. I'm not that subtle. And what else we got? Let's play someone else. Long La Lista. And let's get... what is this? Sometimes my mouse freezes for no apparent reason. Now it's unfrozen. I'll play Mr. Cyclops. Now the dude I apparently have no previous history with yet. But after that, you know what? Change of policy today. I'll play guys I've already played. Because I can't keep searching out dudes I've never played. It's so tedious, and also it's unfair to all our loyal, well, not all, but both of our loyal watchers who are here for every show. Then I never play them because I always play new dudes. It doesn't feel right. Still, against Cyclops, we're gonna play a snooze fest of a game, the whatever they call this, symmetrical English. Line I've already played in thousands of Banter Blitzes. I like this for white because we can claim a little more space. After d4, knight a6 is not a move I'm familiar with. I am familiar with cd4, knight d4, knight c6, or d6. But how bad can knight a6 be? Can be kind of bad because the knight is misplaced. But it's probably not horribly bad. As usual, if in doubt, I just randomly develop my pieces here. Go b3, bishop b2. See what happens. I don't think this knight a6 can be refuted, but it's kind of on the rim, and therefore it's going to be very hard for black to put enough pressure on my center. And God Gusti became premium. Yeah, still don't like you ripping off my old usernames, but now I will stop ignoring you. I might even play you, who knows? Even though I think I just gave that speech. That today I'm not gonna play people for the first time, but just randomly play dudes who've stuck around. What is Cyclops doing? He's trying to lure me into action. Queen c7 is kind of asking for knight b5 punishment. Is there a window? Knight b5, queen e7, dc, dc. Ah, no. Can't be too bad, can it? Can't really spot any punishment. I'm dreaming of capturing material with dc, dc, bishop e5, but rook d8 keeps everything more or less protected. So just play neutral move and see what Cyclops is up to. Not a very good neutral move, but still his knight on b5 is unpleasant for him because of his knight a6. He can't just chase it away. Rook d8, rook d1 is kind of what I was hoping for, when maybe I can build up a bit of an initiative on the d file, I believe is what we call it. A lot of cryptic talk in the chat. Opening fanatic. Jan, can you please support German shows? I don't know what he means. Probably like German soap operas, like Gute Zeiten, Schlechte Zeiten. And they do have my full support. I haven't watched them for a while, but I will absolutely get back to supporting them a little more. I should also stop losing on time against Cyclops here. Time to speed up, which, as you know, is really my one joy in life, that I can randomly speed up while playing a blitz chess game. Doesn't mean I start playing well all of a sudden, of course, but I can increase the speed of the way I make moves and then slow it down again. This is a great, oh boy, I was gonna say a great skill I have, but I got kind of bored with my own voice. Surprise. This is a bit unpleasant because ED queen e7 doesn't work, and else, yeah, there's problems. Cyclops is also in speeded up mode, but now his position like deteriorated a little bit. Could have taken a piece, but I didn't. I think I will lose this game on sheer indifference and stupidity. Maybe now I'll take the piece. And I also think that probably me being sick of my own voice is not a good thing for Banter Blitz, because you gotta do the bantering as well. But Cyclops resigns now that he's lost a piece, so I won this game. Let's find somebody else to play with. So many challengers, so little time. What about the chess god? Where's the chess god? He disappeared. You're gone, chess god. I'm so sorry. I don't like reading out names and then not playing them because they disappear. But I can't see him. Sorry, mate. I'll keep looking for the chess god. This is gonna be... Ah, here he is. German chess god 2022. I'm always very intrigued by numbers in usernames because they could mean so many things. This could be like his real life rating, like his FIDE rating or German rating. It could be, I don't know, could be the PIN code for his bank card, even though that's unlikely. I think most people would not have their PIN number in their username. Then again, it's much easier to remember those things if you have them in your username. So I don't know, what else could 2022 stand for? It's not binary code. And I feel like if you can't beat them, exchange them. Therefore, the exchange Slav is an opening I have always felt very dearly about. Knight h5 is a decent move though, which I'm not sure what to do against. I guess I'm supposed to go here. E6 and whatever. Looks like he knows theory. I really don't. I know you can go e4 here, but it's not supposed to lead anywhere. Well, if you play like slowish moves, then the knight just returns to f6. They haven't achieved all that much. I'll start with rook c1, see what happens. If knight f6, I'll once again go to f4 and see what happens then. Because knight f6, bishop f4, knight h5, then I think I can go bishop g5. That could ask some questions. But cunning as the chess god 2022 is, he goes bishop e7, makes me make another move. And I'll give up that little battle and go e3, bishop t3, or whatnot. That's not a bad system, because he's made me lock in my bishop, and it's not all that clear what I've gained. However, he had to play bishop e7 to accomplish that, which is at least a little achievement. Now bishop d7, knight e5. I'll start asking a few questions, like, if you take after de, where does your knight want to go? Or, are you afraid of queen f3, queen h3, with checkmate looming? I'm overusing the word looming. I used to say in the air, because I didn't know what to say in such situations. Then I googled that you can use looming or impending or all these fancy words. Now I'm overusing them. Can't win with this English language. You just cannot win. Chess god is going bishop d6. Not a bad move. Might even go as far as calling it a good move. Can I go queen g3? Yeah, I think I can. Thinking time again. Knight e5, de5 doesn't work. Knight h5, queen g4. Bishop e5, de, knight h5, queen g4 also look pleasant-ish, because if knight takes e5, then, in case you're following this blindfold line, I have this little trick, bishop h7. So he goes knight e8, asking for punishment. No, not really asking for punishment. Many moves I could play. Queen h3 is obvious, f4 is obvious. So many options. I'll go here, see what happens. Probably f5 is gonna happen. G6, okay. Then, at least my plan is clear. I'll go bishop e1, bishop h4. Try to give this bishop some useful work. See what happens. I think I'm saying a lot of see what happens. You know, I don't really want to see what happens unless it favors me greatly. And he goes f5 now, goes for the counter stone wall that maybe he should have done without g6, small weakness, but it doesn't matter all that much. Overall, I'm slightly better because my knight is on e5, my bishop is a little further to leaving this diagonal. Bishop e7 is sensible. I think I'll go for some action here. Why not? Knight e5 fe, I hope is not going to solve all his problems because his pieces will remain kind of passive. And I have ideas like rook c2, rook g2, maybe swinging this rook over. But of course, the black position is rocky solid. I'm not even claiming. Not claiming anything here. I'm just playing moves. This is a Zwischenschach, as we call it, in the business. This is a pawn, as we call it, pretty much anywhere. And I still have my plan of trying to bring the rook over. He's probably going to try to put the knight on f5. And then we'll both contemplate what brought us here. Bishop h4, bishop e7, takes. Now I don't have... Thinking about lines, believe it or not, but they don't make me so happy yet. Now, keep the tension. I was thinking about bishop h4 and stuff. Bishop e7, takes, rook f1, but didn't seem to be breaking through. So I'll stick with this plan for now. See if that gets me anywhere. Bishop e8 is legal, but makes it a little harder to get a knight f5. Or does it? I don't know, h4 feels a little wrong. I think I should stick with piece play, knight e2, knight f4 as well, but I didn't. Now he wants to go knight f5. Yeah, h4 was dumb. But such is life sometimes. I've bungled this beautiful position. My lovely attacking position has derailed quickly because of my very strange h4 move. Remember, kids, if you're still awake, don't move your h-pawn unless you have a really good reason to do so. Queen c8, very deep. I have no idea what that move is about. I can't decide what to do though. I guess my bishop has done his job, since I blocked his only way out on h4 by playing h4 myself. Might as well give it a passive boring life on d2, where it has no duties except for covering. What do we call this square? c1. Now I gotta do something. Let's see what happens. I didn't think this through, to be honest with you. But I had the feeling it had to be done so that we could have fun. Maybe knight g6 was better. But as mentioned, I didn't think it through. Sorry for the throat clearing and all that. So we'll get to the I'm sorry section later in the show. Right now we have an exciting position. No time for the I'm sorries. Let's threaten checkmate. This is threatening checkmate, believe it or not. We have a checkmate threat. Knight f5 looks forced, then check. King f7. I'm not sure I see a way through. But I'll certainly try. But how the... Now, of course I'm not taking a draw. I'm winning on time anyway. Why would I accept a draw here? Chess got 20-22. That is a weird offer, and you know it. Also, I can take all kinds of things. Probably not the sexiest outcome of my lethal kingside attack, and I'm sure there were better things to do. But it got the job done, led to winning endgame, and this is checkmate. Yeah, weird game. Whom shall we play? Oh, we have a dude with a teenage mutant ninja turtle face. I can't resist that, and I'll play him. Even though Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like if you're looking at the film poster, like teenage you're probably in, you want to see a movie about teenagers. And mutant you're like, I'm not sure if I want a mutant movie. Ninja, American Ninja is a great movie, but do you want to really see a Teenage Mutant Ninja movie? And then turtles? Like that doesn't really make it better. Still, who is this dude with the purple? Is that Donatello? I'm sure Google knows. Purple turtle. No, that's not helping at all, Google. Do I need to add ninja? Google thought when I googled purple turtle, I was not talking of the Ninja Turtles. Purple Ninja Turtle. It is Donatello. Boom. I have done my homework here. And also in the Nimzo Indian, where I've done... Nah, I'm not gonna plug any video series today, but I've done some. None on this move, though. He takes instantly, which is not a bad move. It's considered to be a little premature, but it does have a very clear strategical agenda to play against these hanging pawns. So I don't think it's terrible. In this particular position, I believe white is supposed to be alright, because he's gonna be quite fast occupying the center and hopefully orchestrating a kingside attack. But bishop takes c3 is, of course, one of the ideas at the core of the Nimzo Indian. Doubling these pawns, then blockading them, going knight c6, knight a5, bishop a6, just picking up these little fellas, or this little fella, without asking twice. It's not that important, usually, to give up this d4 pawn. First of all, I can win it back. And secondly, I believe I mentioned this rule earlier. For a knight on f5, you should leave your wife. I believe that is the rule. And here we got this square very, very openly inviting my knight. So it's no need to worry about the d4 pawn. Instead, I just try to get here. If he goes g6, because now knight f5 looks quite painful already, targeting this pawn and this pawn. And I cannot see how to defend both of them, frankly. No, still can't see it. He probably should have stopped me by going g6, but it's also an ugly move to play then bishop g5 or bishop h6. Weakening the dark squares also was not ideal. Well, now I will take back everything I said earlier about knights on f5 and dynamic play and attacking. All that nonsense. Now I grab the pawn and I will defend it with all my might. Which is not a lot of might, but I might still keep it. And also all this stuff about not closing the center, not releasing the tension. Everything changes after I get the d6 pawn. But if I have to go back with tempo, I will do so. Who signed this mug? We have all these famous people who stop by signing these mugs, but I can never tell like whose signature that is. Could be Svidler, Yusupov, Dvoretsky, I have no idea, I can't read a single thing. What does it say? Is this Fiedler? I honestly don't know. G6. Okay, let's keep the knight around. I don't know. Can you guys decipher this? I certainly cannot. Queen C7. Time to bring the queen, closer to the future crime scene, which will be the king side, where a brutal murder is about to take place. And the only question is going to be, who done it? Knight 5 is actually a good defensive move. I'll still do this, but I'm a little concerned because after knight f4, I don't really want to take it because positionally it's not a great thing to do since I'm giving up control of the dark squares, which one should not do lightly. Knight g4 is h5. All of a sudden, this has become a lot murkier than it should have been. I went rook a1, hoping for knight e5, queen takes f4, but even that I'm not that sure about. And Santiago Lizon all of a sudden has turned into a monster. I don't know what happened here. Have we created one? Has Donatello fed on enough pizza so they can now focus on the chess game? I don't know what's going on, but I've kind of messed up, and that's why I went e5. Desperate attempt to activate some of my pieces again. Rook e5 I thought I could take here, but I'm not happy. Not that I'm ever unduly happy. Time to scroll through the chat. GB2284 is like half a year late to the pop culture party, and he's now telling us about making a murderer. We're not talking about that anymore. We're talking about the night off now, which is similar and looks excellent from the first few episodes. But you gotta be a firm captain on the ship of pop culture nowadays to bring up making a murderer that late. Not working. Of course you can still watch it, and I agree it's good. And I do think, spoiler alert, that, what's his name? Stephen Avery is very, very guilty. But it's no longer part of the popular discourse, which moves very, very quickly these days. And there we gotta talk about The Night Of, which... Not The Night Of. I thought it was a chess series, but it's called The Night Of. And that is an excellent show on home box office, which looks very, very good. Well, even the pop culture questions tend to repeat themselves, like, is House of Cards any good? I quit House of Cards long time ago, was not a fan. Quit after season 1. No need really to take on g6 here, but I felt like always grabbing the exchange and trying to somehow grind out position. Nah. It's a bit boring, but we'll get back to it. Some work with a board and some without. You have to find out what suits you better. What are we talking about? House of Cards? If you want to be good over the board, use board. Carlsen has no board. Screen versus board? What kind of weird discussion is this? Fill me in. Another dude living in the past, Luther with Idris Elba, another 10-year-old series, is brilliant. It's decent. It's not brilliant. I suggest a show called The Night Of, as like in the night of the murder, the night of the party, the life of, the night of whatever. Anyway, let's play someone else. I don't know why Santiago Lizon resigned after bishop g6, but it's a free country. Where is he from? Even Spain is a free country, and he did resign. And okay, this name is so not desperate that it will be rewarded. It is a little desperate and a little sad. And normally I don't do that, but it's more creative than yelling in the chat, play me, play me, play me. So let's play against Mr. Choose Me for Banter. And let's fianchetto our dark squared bishop. Why not? A lot of people go g6, bishop g7, pretty much no matter what. Those are normally people that are a bit allergic to learning opening theory. I'm not one of these people. I'm a theory nerd, would be the correct term. But I believe that under a lot of circumstances, this stuff can make a lot of sense. Looks like Choose Me for Banter is a close student of our work. Hence, I will do something else. Not bishop f5 as I normally play here, but e6, which looks like a pleasant name. Pleasant name? See, I'm still thinking about Choose Me for Banter. I'm very pleased with it, apparently. Looks like a playable move. And yeah, I think we've milked the night off joke by now, but we can keep working on it. Anyway, someone told me that this was quite okay for black. d4, you just castle. If d5, you can either take and go knight a5, or take and go knight e5 and get a decent version of the, what do we call that? The Benoni structure. So it's not so easy for white to do anything here. You can go b3, I would guess, when I'm gonna have to think about knight f5, just trying to use the temporary disarray in the white position, because then he can't take anywhere. He goes dc5, which is kind of the most solid, but after dc5, I'm sure I'm fine. The question is, how much do I want to spice it up after queen e2? And I think I want to spice it up a little. Give up my beloved bishop. I'm not sure if that was objectively a very good choice, but sometimes, you know, you just want to unbalance the situation a little bit. And normally bishops versus knights, or knights versus bishops, tend to favor the stronger player, which hopefully is me. Maybe it's not, because Choose Me for Banter so far has played very well. He has chosen this name, begging to be chosen for Banter. So who knows what's up with him? Rook b1, another good move. Maybe it's all been a tarp. Pramod is wondering how I was going to continue in the previous game. I have no idea. Like, I'm in the... Who said this? I normally calculate one move ahead, but I hope it's a good move camp. Not sure I'm in that camp, but I honestly didn't know what to do next. So he covered his c3 pawn now before I could get my greedy hands on it. One thing I don't want is this knight showing up on d5, but it looks like there's no obvious way there, right? Another thing I don't want is blunder my queen, but normally I'm decent at not blundering my queen. So I'm more concerned about this horsey, but it's a long way, knight e1, knight c2, knight e3. I don't think that's very likely to happen. He goes bishop f1, which is perfectly sensible. I don't know what to do, so I'll probably double my rooks on the d-file and see if that lends itself to anything good. If he goes knight e1, I'll start getting scared. Nah, he goes knight d2. Not that scared now. Still scared, but not as scared. Time to make some fake active moves. Yeah. that didn't last very long, that fake active plan. I'll go away. You convinced me. I don't want to unmess his pawns. I believe unmess is the correct term. Now I could think about unmessing his pawns, because a wise man once told me that even if you undouble pawns, the weak squares always remain. So I could take cb, knight a5. And I'm trying to evaluate that position as we speak. I don't like it, but I'll still do it for lack of creativity. Nah, that's not that great. I'm playing badly. Should be 2, even that you can do. I'll do some highly exciting, especially to the viewers who are still up late at night watching this maneuvering, like rook back, then knight to d6, and then hope something happens. I don't know what is supposed to happen, frankly. This game is a little bit like Angela's Ashes. I don't know why I'm so obsessed. Too many complicated discourses in the chat. I'm gonna have to focus on this game because I chose Mr. Choose Me for banter, and he deserves a proper crushing. But so far, all I've done is been boring, both verbally and chess movie. Is chess movie an adjective? Probably not. Anyway, he's tanking now. Goes, takes. I am trying to clear the square for my knight on the rim, which I will probably successfully get done. I'm not sure if that's gonna yield me anything. And GB2284, I think you heard me, but I don't want to spoil it too much. And yeah, I'm well read on that topic, on the making a murderer thingy, so yeah, that is what I believe. Trying to keep my eyes open here, but I have this extra skin above my eyes, so even when I'm not sleepy, and now I am sleepy, but even when I'm not sleepy, I look sleepy because of that thingy. A lot of aging women get like beauty operations to get rid of this big... What's the word? I should look up the word actually. I only know it in my native tongue. Let's learn something so I can tell the cosmetic surgeon. That is a word? That doesn't sound right at all. Slip lighter? Nah, no way, Google. Slip lid. Nah. Drooping lid. Hidden lid. That sounds more likely. The hidden lid. That's the one thing that stands between me and a Zoolander modeling career. As for the game, I finally got access to the c4 square, which is nice because I can put my knight there. And a knight on c4 will allow you to score. I believe that's what Kasparov said. Now I'm targeting c3 and f3, and one of them might fall. See, that's what I was talking about earlier. Even if doubled weak pawns go away, the weak squares behind them remain. I'm sure someone clever once said that. It's not my original thinking. In general, nothing I say on the show is original thinking. I'm always plagiarizing something. Blepharoplasty? I don't think that's a word, dudes. Fe or 95 both look winning-ish. I'll go Fe. Nope. Please stay at home, Mr. Bishop. How do I win this? I'm kind of winning, but I'm not really blessed with a winning plan. If in doubt, in an endgame, centralize the king. That's what a wise man once said. If in doubt, in an endgame, take as many pawns as you can. That's my little piece of wisdom. And choose me for banter, got chosen for banter. And I won a positional masterpiece. I believe that is the only term to describe it. And thanks for the game, Mr. Choose Me for banter. Let's play check 0-1. 0-0-1, 0-0-1, 0-1-1. I don't know, that's not a song, is it? Check 0-1 from the Germanys. What to do? I'll play the King's Indian. I believe one day the King's Indian and me will reconcile and make friends and find out that we didn't have that many differences. It was just because we were so alike and none of us was willing to accept that. But yeah, I'm not a big King's Indian player slash fan slash expert. I do know that you go e5 quite early. Bishop e3 here, that's a weird move. d5 looks normal and d5 I believe is trendy stuff. But bishop e3 in combination with h3 gets me a little curious about taking and going rook e8, because normally now you don't want to play f3 anymore, since you've already played h3. That kind of would weaken the dark squares on the king side. And without f3, it might be tough to hang on to Mr. e4 pawn. So I'm not sure about this bishop e3 move. Like, you can go d5 there, that's very solid, or d5, that's a complicated thingy, complicated positional plan, championed by Tomaszewski. Bishop e3, I'm not sure I'll become a fan of that move. Not bad, I'm sure you can get away with it, but here at least I have a target now. Bishop d3. And yeah, this is what I was talking about now. I hope I can kind of win a match. Win a match? Win the bishop pair. Not sure how to do this though. Here maybe my lack of King's Indian expertise kicks in. Okay, I'll just follow my heart, follow my instincts. b4, very aggressive. Don't like b4. Looks like more weaknesses for me. Fresh weaknesses. I'll attack this pawn once. I'm not really sure I want to take it actually after rook e1, let's say. I'm not 100% sure I can grab it. But to keep check 0-1 a little busy. And after f3, I've achieved this thing I was talking about. Now the dark squares are a little weakened. Could have gone knight h5, maybe that was more principled. But I felt it was also tempting to head for this square. Oh yeah, I gotta chase the queen away once. And let's continue with our theme of establishing knights on c4. That's been the topic of the day, and I like to have a clear narrative within all my games. That's a lie, I don't care at all, as long as I win. But yeah, I'll try to put a knight here somehow. So much action in the chat. Sorry I can't talk to all of you dudes. But I must focus on crushing check 0-1. Even though he just gave me a pawn, which might make the crushing a little easier, right? Why can't I take? I can't take. So how should I take? Next question. Knight or bishop? Bishop looks more obvious. Bishop c4, queen c2. No immediate follow-up. Maybe I'll take with the knight. Why not? Now he could take the knight off, which is really an excellent TV show. But I don't think he should, and I'm not sure what to recommend. Probably have to go bishop f2. But I don't know what I'll do. Probably keep the tension. Maybe go a5 or whatnot. Pawn is a pawn. Whoa, we got a lot of viewers. Looks like losing out 2 of our key demographics doesn't mean that which I always thought was only a fraction of our viewerships, the people with actual jobs who can't follow the shows at daytime. But maybe it's not like that. Maybe the Americans are awake now. People with jobs can watch the show. I don't know, I normally don't pay that much attention to the numbers, but it feels like there's more people around. And no, I'm not really ignoring the chat. It's just busy day, busy games, a lot of action in the chat. And then when I just keep reading through the chat, I've been told it doesn't make for a great show. and I have very high quality standards. Sorry, I can't say that with a clear face. Very high self-set quality standards to live up to, so I can't do it. What I can do is grab pawns. Gimme. Boom! Another pawn bites the dust. Now I have 2 extra pawns and 2 more bishops than him, so that should bode well. Even though Czech 01 starts fighting back now, wants to clear some squares for his knights, I don't want him to do that. So I just went rook c8, keeping this pawn on c6, not giving up the d5 square, or any square really. Queen d2, I'll continue this policy of not doing very much, just safeguarding my pawns in case they should come under attack. Maybe I'll push up this pawn a little bit up the board, so my queen can go here. I'm expecting knight a4, I would play knight a4, but then my queen can come here, giving a check. I'll still give that check. Give a check and then go back. That is a typical bullet chess strategy. Bishop h6 looks tempting, but I think I shouldn't be overly subtle. I should push Antonio, the a-pawn, up the board. And I do not think that this attack with h4, h5 is overly dangerous. Nah, but I'm not gonna dance on Czech 01's grave here. His position is just beyond repair. And therefore he resigns after playing e5. Yeah, I think in the opening this... Okay, I'm not gonna label it as a big mistake, and I don't know theory, but bishop e3 strikes me as very weird in combination with h3. Like d5 or de5 look like the moves there. Let's play somebody else. What about Mr. Zigva from the Norways? I believe that is how the country is called. We have a lot of Norwegian users these days, which is great. Booming chess country, of course. A lot of Norwegian, lot of chess on Norwegian TV is what I'm trying to say, with the likes of Jon Ludvig, or Jean-Luc as people call him, Hammer, and Hans Olav Lahlum. So it sparked interest in the royal game a lot over there. But it looks like Zigva is not there, or maybe he's watching chess on TV. I'll count till 5 and then I'll play someone else. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, abort. Sorry, Zigva. That gives us time to check in with the chat. As mentioned, now let's have a little NBA break. Blah, blah, blah. When will the winner of some prediction game play the 2-game match against you? Oh yeah, I know about that. I actually mailed him. Well, not mailed. I sent him something on Chess24. And I think dude was on vacation, but he will do it when he's back. Okay, this is not a chat show. It's a crashing show. So let's crash somebody. What time is it anyway? Still a lot of games to play. I need my beauty rest. Not really. Yeah, I don't know. This is the fun part of the show. You know what? I'll just scroll to the end of the list and then click on names without even thinking. I said today I don't care if I played them before, so then I don't have to think. And you guys can start a new discussion. Like, is it fair how Jan chooses his opponents? Probably it's not fair, but it's my choice. Mr. Normal Name. Oh yeah, I played this dude before. I made fun of his username. Not this time. Strikes me as a perfectly normal username. If you're not there, however, then I don't know, I'll start taking it personally. 2 dudes in a row not playing me. That must mean I must have said something to offend you. I know I've offended crack junkies earlier, but I thought they weren't watching because of the time of day. So, Mr. Normal Name, what's your excuse? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, aborto. But I'll stick to the plan. Click on the next from the bottom of my list. People have explained to me like how this works when the challenges are displayed first, last, whatever. But I'm not that clever, so I don't really have a clue. That's just how we do it. But I might change that policy very soon again. Looks like a problem with clicking on dudes on the bottom is they're all not there. But knight f3, g6, El Leon is with us. And he goes g6, which can be a tricky attempt to get to the Grunfeld after d4, knight f6. So e4, to my mind, is more challenging. When black can go to some Sicilian position after c5, but then you're committed to g6. That has its own set of problems. Here, more often than not, I play knight c3 in this position, but this time around, I felt like playing c4, heading for King's Indianish waters. What can I do? I don't like this h3 stuff. Let's do it anyway, though. We're all here to learn. After e5 in my last game, bishop e3 was played. I wasn't a fan of that, so I said, you gotta close the center there. And that's what I shall do. I've never been a big fan of closing the center with d5 in these King's Indian structures. I think white is objectively better because he controls more space, but I don't understand it particularly well. Therefore, I've normally shied away from this. Like here, if you go g4, or bishop e3, or bishop g5, very tough decision for me already. But g4 it is. Knight c5. Guess I gotta defend that pawn. But yeah, I don't really have any kind of touch in these positions. a5 I would play, because else I will chase this knight away. You don't want that. I'll go bishop g5, but I'm again not sure about this move. Bishop e3. My reasoning is if he goes h6, then I'll go bishop e3. If the position ever opens up, let's say knight e8 and f5 later, then I think it's good to have provoked h6. Could both become a weakness if the g file is ever opened, or the g6 square could be used by the knight. He goes queen e8, which I guess is fine. I'll go here, because why not? If knight fd7, which I'm assuming is the intention, I could ask some slightly annoying questions with knight b5, like what do you do after knight b5? Probably the answer would be knight back to a6, but it's not a move you love to play, let's face it. As for the general plan, yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I want to go bishop e2. Not sure I want to castle queenside anytime soon, because, well, one day I probably will. But probably not soon, because then it would give black some points to organize, or some targets to organize his counterplay. Even though I guess black's plan should be c6 and b5 here anyway. I think from my rambling, you can already tell that I don't really know what I'm talking about in these structures at all. That's why I tend to avoid them. What are we talking about? The chat is so confusing. Like, I'm trying to keep up, but I can't. I just can't. I can't exchange knights because I want all the pieces on the board. There's so many different pieces. Wouldn't it be sad if we exchanged all of them and then all we were left with would be bishops looking the same, or knights? Let's keep all the colors of the rainbow in action. I don't know, that made no sense whatsoever again. I'm losing it, ladies and gentlemen. It's very warm here. I haven't had much sleep. That's not true, I've slept a lot. But I feel like I haven't had much sleep. He's played b5. Does that open the queen side in my favor? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. I was planning to go b3, but then knight c5 started to bother me. So once again I changed my mind. Which is the mark of a putzer, like regularly changing your mind because there's some details that bother you in some other variation. And I'm not sure this game is gonna be in my collection of memorable games, which I'm sure will become a bestseller in the year 2034. I've started working on it, but I have a feeling 2034 is a very realistic date. To swoop the market with Jan Gustafsson's best chess games. I think that is the correct title. 2034. What chess books would it be competing against? Maybe Luc van Vele's memoirs. I think he's also working on them. Who else would be good? Wei Yi, my great predecessors, could be one. I don't know though. I'm not sure if this Wei Yi kid will come through. He's good, but it's other good dudes. Blunder the queen. Come on, give me that queen. Queen b4, natural, active, a3, queen gone. Feeling he's not gonna give me the queen. Come on, El Ajedrecista Leon. I want your lady. Nah. Alright, then back to boring chess. a4, stopping any counterplay. Rook g1, preparing for the inevitable opening of the king side with f5. If c6, I'll take on b6, go knight c4, and then regret that I didn't stop c6 earlier. Yep, that's what's up. Knight c8. I don't know. And Smeshak is asking, is he high or what? I would love to answer the question, but he's not a premium member, so I can't enter a discourse. And another non-premium member, Gustafsson the Great. Like, if you use my name for your username, can't you like Google the spelling at least once? Just a little wish I have. No, I haven't discovered wheat. My wheat career is a long time in the past. It's just past my bedtime. It's really late over here. h5. Oops. I'm winning though. I've quietly built up an overwhelming positional advantage here, which I should praise myself quite a bit for, since I only outrate El Ajedrecista Leon by like 1,200 points, now a little less. So kudos to me for winning this game on time. Gonna have to calculate one line, but I believe it's a decent line. Check. And king d2, and I couldn't see any follow-up for black. Because the rook is hanging, the queen is hanging. And there goes the rook, and El Ajedrecista Leon resigns. Has going to the bathroom ever cost you a game? No. Spotless on Netflix. I don't know, man. What? Question mark, exclamation mark. It is very confusing chat, boys and girls. We're gonna play a couple more games. What time did I start? I keep forgetting. 9:30, I believe. So now it's 10:30. That gives us time for like 3 more games probably. What was my recipe? Oh yeah, just click on names on the bottom of my challengers list. Like JFK Stevens. Mr. JFK Stevens. I shall play e4 against you. And if you go d6, I'm very tempted to play bishop c4 again. But I'm getting a little bored of myself doing that. Now, you know what? Let's play straight up. One game Najdorf, just for you. f3, trendy move. h3, people are getting a little sick of. Bishop e3 is still knight g4. So f3 is what they play a lot nowadays. And here I believe I'm supposed to first castle, because if we go g4, then it runs into d5, and black has all sorts of counterplay. So far, so good. Now I guess they go knight bd7, g4, b5, and then either g5, crazy stuff, rook g1, slightly less crazy stuff, a5 also possible, but gets me out of book, which is a little unfair. I guess I'll stop this pawn from advancing. I guess this point is knight c6, knight b4. And yeah, I'm out of book, so I'm gonna have to wing it. In it to wing it. After knight b4, I have to start worrying a bit about d5 breaks, which I can stop by going g5. But I'm not sure I always want to go g5. Like this knight h5 is a pretty decent defender. He goes knight d7, doesn't go knight h5. Okay. Also possible, but I would have played knight h5. Weird position. I'm not a regular e4 or open Sicilian player, so as usual, take everything I say. I think you know to take everything I say with a grain of salt, no matter what the position is, but especially here. Not quite on my home turf. But I'll go h5, g6 and hope something good happens. That is more or less my thinking. Normally these Sicilian dudes, they also throw in king b1 at some point. Which maybe this is a good time. It's also a bit tempting to go knight b5. Well, you can't have everything. I'll stick with the h5, g6 thingy. See what happens. I haven't watched Vice Principals with Danny McBride. I've recommended it on one of the other shows because one of my shows said it was good, but I haven't seen it yet. I heard it was funny. Is that the big debate of the day, Zero Limit? Do you think it's better to study on comp screen or a real board? I don't know. I do own a real board. I know a lot of grandmasters that don't, but I haven't used it in a very, very long time. So I don't think it's better or worse, but normally for the pure time-saving benefits of it, most GMs don't use real boards. However, if you have the time and if you're at a training camp, where I haven't been for a while, then I do think that makes sense to use a real board. It just takes so long to set up a position and then reset up the pieces and so on. No one really does it, but not against it. This position is very sharp. I'm not sure what's going on. I now finally got scared into playing king b1. But probably I'm not doing particularly well. Bishop b3 is what I've been hoping for a long, long time. I believe this is a bad move. Because now my bishop on c4 becomes a monster all of a sudden. Instead of bishop b3, if he goes knight b6 intending knight c4, then I'm not sure what's going on. But now this is a dream position because this bishop is a powerhouse. And JKF Stevens realizes something's gone wrong and he's trying to backpedal to challenge this bishop, but it's too late. The bishop has found a new home on this diagonal like a world-class parasite. It's already setting roots there and it's not gonna leave. Nah, can't keep track of the chat in spite of my very best efforts. If at first you don't succeed, brush yourself off and try again. Is brush the lyric? I guess not. Dust yourself off and try again? How to checkmate JKF? You know what? I'll play a move that probably will make him resign, which is just as good as checkmating. Because an old Russian saying is, if you can checkmate your opponent or take his queen. Take his queen, because you can always checkmate him later. And see, he did resign after queen d7. So why checkmate him if you can just force resignation? What was my policy? Ah, yeah. Oh, I clicked on my friends instead. Should befriend some people. I'm not really socially active on Chess24. So apologies to all of those people whom I haven't replied to or whom I haven't befriended. It's not you, it's me. I meant to accept a new challenge and I meant to stick with my policy of accepting from the bottom. I started at the bottom, now we're here. Edward Newgate. (2002) and forever. d4 is played by Mr. Newgate. Interesting. I shall bring my knight to f6, controlling both the e4 and d4 squares without committing any pawns anywhere yet. So a very flexible move. And after c4, g6 is interesting, intending to fianchetto to the bishop, where knight c3 gives black a choice between the dynamic Grunfeld and the challenging King's Indian. Edward Newgate plays the move 3g3. The most solid move here is the move c6, followed up with d5, occupying the center, but that is a little boring. So, for the purposes of this demonstration, we shall play the move d5, which is less good because we're exchanging a central pawn for a white c-pawn, but it is closer in spirit to lively piece play and direct action, and therefore shall be chosen for this very game. This is the line I used to play: e3 castles, knight c3, rook e8. I'm not sure it's great for black, and it has fallen out of fashion because these c6, d5 setups are a lot more solid. However, it's not obviously terrible either. And after h3, I believe I can go e5. Looks like Eddie knows what he's doing here, takes instantly. Normally e5 with the knight on c3 runs into d5, so it's not that simple. It looks like Mr. Newgate is well versed in the h3 subtleties here. I do not know what those are. Could have exchanged queens, but maybe we're both gonna have more fun if we leave the queens on the board. And by we both, I mean myself. Because now after queen c2, bishop f5, e4, I can grab a pawn. Queen e3, e2, yeah, I don't know. One small mistake, queen c2 with such worthy positional intentions. And then all of a sudden, the evil grandmaster starts taking all your stuff. Don't you hate it when that happens? I certainly do. Taking my foot off the gas here, I don't think bishop f1 and c6 was the most challenging of sequences that were available in the position, but should be good enough. I do have a whole extra exchange, and white is not really king of development here either. So yeah, it's gonna be tough for Edward. Where's he from? Oh, he's from Mexico. That's great. Because we want to build a new firewall here at Chess24 and we want Mexico to pay for it. So we're looking for more Mexican premium members, and great to have Edward Newgate. That wasn't that funny, was it? I try. Can't win them all. So for this endgame now, I'm an exchange and a couple pawns up, right? So I'll win this one. Boom. Nope, queen f7 is not a legal move, as doesn't matter how often you try to make that move, Edward, it is not legal. This shall not be particularly challenging. I believe Edward, now after counting pawns, will realize the same thing. Say, you know what? That didn't go well. Let's fight another day. Too many enemy. And Edward Nougat resigns. I believe the last part of that game didn't need any commentary. We have Batuan Gunaidin, sorry for the mispronunciation, saying, "Hi Jan, I bet I will beat you. Go premium and then we will find out, Batuhan." I shall find out whom I play next, but since I have this very simple system at just clicking at the bottom challenger, how hard can it be? Mr. Conte Yellow from Thailand. Probably my favorite country in the world. I'm always playing in the Thailand Open every year. Not sure if it's my favorite country in the world, but I like it there. Thailand Open, fantastic tournament. If you haven't played it, I can highly recommend it. Conte Yellow, 2301. Very strong player. I'm not sure if this is true, so correct me if I'm very wrong, Mr. Conte Yellow. I was always taught against the Thai players that a lot of them are brought up on Thai chess, so they're very strong with the knights, and you want to exchange their knights, because the knights are similar in Thai chess. Is there any... Does that theory hold any water, or is that just nonsense? Grab some space. He can go b5, play some sort of Banco gambit, or he can do something else. b5 I could take, or I could go e4. Both look decent. I don't know. I think I'll go e4 just for variety's sake. I'm not sure you get this option with white and the standard Banco move order. That looked kind of decent. A3 I'm not sure about, but once again, looked decentish, which is all I need. Weird structure. Can I go c5, or is that a bit too much? Well, who knows? Probably is a bit too much. But I don't want him to go d6 and put a knight on c5. So, if you like it, then you're sure to put a knight on it. I'm a terrible singer. This will never happen again. I apologize to both of the viewers. Also for the both of the viewers joke, because I've done that too often. I don't understand. Knight h6. Probably wants to go f5 at some point, but I don't know why. d6. Give me that passed pawn. See, that put me in a much better mood. d6, c6. Nice little pawny here, isn't it? I don't mean pawny in Indiana, which I'm sure is a nice tone too. Good breakfast food up there in Pony, I heard at least. Should speed up a little bit. My position is pretty overwhelming ever since he went d6 and allowed me this passer. But it's a 3-minute game, and therefore speed is required. And I love it when I say speed is required, and then I just don't make a move for a long time. Not sure I had to give this pawn. I thought knight b5 was very strong, but I'm not really sure if I'm doing anything properly here. Once again, speed, blah, blah, blah. e5. Strange decision, but legal. Conte Yellow has switched to speedy play as well, but I have switched to 2 passed pawns on the 6th rank, which is even better than speed, because they only need 2 squares to make it to rank number 8. And I believe under my wise guidance, they will probably find their way home. This is Caesar. He's the more curious of the two. His brother David is a little more reserved, doesn't fully trust the weather, but after he sees Caesar launching into 7th rank territory, David decides, you know what, if Caesar dares, I shall follow suit. The local neighborhood bully Fritjof is on the f2 square, but it looks like Her Majesty has him under control, and either Caesar or David might launch onto... okay. Game over. Thanks for the game. Come to yellow. Looks like we have to do a Q&A or something one of these days, because there's a lot of very random questions in the chat, which is not necessarily... I like to chat during these shows, but it's not necessarily the main point of it, so therefore I can't answer all of them. Instead, I can continue my policy of clicking on the latest challenges. And looks like we got Mr. Miktal, regular over here. Let's see if he's still awake. I'm out of coffee. I know it doesn't feel like I've been overly caffeinated for most of the program. And as I said, today I decided to switch up my system a little bit and just click on the challenges that appear on the bottom of my list after playing a couple of guys I'd never played before, which seems to have the implicit problem that a lot of these guys aren't there anymore. So I'll abandon my intentions to play against Miktal. Sorry, Miktal, doesn't seem like he's around. Try to find the next in line, which is Mr. Apollon Dragon. Might also not be there. Oh, there he is. Goes d4. Why wouldn't you? Let's play the move that shall not be named. The move f5. Terrible move, of course. Weakening your king on the very first move. And Apollon Dragon learned some cute little opening tricks. Like this one, where if I were to take his bishop, it would be checkmate. Of course, he has the problem that he ran into one of the biggest theory monsters this side of Hollywood. So I know even nonsense like this. And I know that knight f6, e5, e6, ef, queen f6 is the best line here for black. But it is a very decent try. I've done this myself as a much younger man. When I was younger, so much younger than today. Very important to go queen f6 and not gh4, queen h5, once again checkmate. But now I will regain the piece, and this is rough equality. Guess king d8 is possible. But do I want to do that? Yeah, you know what? Let's have a little fun. Queen f7 is more solid, of course. Exchanging the queens. But king on d8 can always be delayed. It's a very good rule of thumb. Yeah, I'm starting to understand why people are speculating if I am a little high. Which I'm not. I'm just not that funny. Bishop g5 doesn't strike me as a very good move, because now he has to lose time going away with the queen. Bishop g3 looks stronger. Here, who can deny a tasty pawn? I could go rook h2 just to show off. I'm not sure how good of a move that is though. He would take, I'd go queen e5 check. Something to e2, queen h2, long castles. Nah, it looks like it's a bit much. Instead, g4 makes it very hard for him to avoid the exchange of queens. It's so tempting. It's an extra pawn. So tempting. Objectively, I should just take and have a more or less winning endgame. But this pawn. Gimme. It is a juicy little pawn, is it not? I'll just not develop any pieces. If he takes and goes long castles, which he should, I can go queen f4 check, or queen takes g2. Try taking some more pawns. And leave the onus of checkmating me on Apollon Dragon. Me, I just want your pawns Development way overrated. I'm not sure you should try this at home, or you should believe in this school of thought. As usual, it depends. I do believe that I'm fine here objectively, but such strategies like one f5, playing recklessly and so on, can backfire big time as well. So handle with care. Yeah, but as mentioned, my plan is to grab as many pawns as I can get my tiny little hands on. And here comes the punishment. Queen d4, good move. Did not see that. Problem is knight c6, queen f6 check, bishop e7, queen h8 is kind of painful. So I might really have overdone it a bit here. And the punishment is imminent. I should stop saying imminent. I don't even like that word. c6 is a ridiculous move, and now I probably am in trouble, but I panicked. I couldn't see anything better. Queen h8 looks good, forcing my king to stick around on this side of the board. Because after check, bishop e7, queen h8, I'll go to c7, which is kind of where I wanted to go anyway. Queen e5, d6, queen g7. Yeah, he's keeping me busy, which is good. Like for him. I don't like being kept busy. I prefer doing nothing. But yeah, queen g2 was a little ridiculous. I will admit that much. And keep moving my king around as if nothing has happened. Tending to take the f2 pawn next. Pawn and Dragon is considering drastic measures like rook d6, king d6, queen d4 check, king c7, queen e5 check. But then bishop d6, and it doesn't look like there's a perpetual, does it? Taking a deep dive here. Oh no, I might still be okay. Like I've played a little too provocatively. But if there's no mate, the white pieces have a hard time attacking my king, really. So I might still be in decent shape. Knight a4, queen f2 covers the c5 square. Queen d4 back is a legit move, but does not feel like checkmate either. Does cover Mr. f2 though, whom I really wanted to take. So kudos for that. I'll repeat moves once just to be annoying, because he's gonna get excited. King c7, queen g7, repeating moves, which is true. But I will deviate later, because I'm cunning like that. Plays bishop c4, doesn't want to repeat moves. And that's actually a good move, directed against my plan knight d7, followed by knight e5. So-called prophylactic thinking. And I'll do something that I hope you guys won't tell anybody. I'm giving up a pawn for development. Like, not in line with anything I stand for, to develop pieces at the expense of pawns. But I couldn't think of anything better. Probably I should have played d5, the greedier move, instead of parting with all these pawns. I feel dirty, like I've really sold out everything I ever stood for just to get some pieces out. And that stink is not leaving. Not sure I'll be able to look into the mirror tonight, which is partly because of the spider webs hanging in front of the mirror, but also because I've betrayed myself with this knight d7, knight e5 maneuver. And it's gonna take me a while to get over that. What's this knight doing here? Nothing much, is it? Nah. Should I do something active again? Some self-pinning, rook h8, pinning my own knight. And it's too late, Miktal. Like, I can't come back to you guys if you're not there after I accept the challenge, which I'm sure you understand. Apollon Dragon, I will win on time. Then don't complain later that you crushed me. But time was running out, because time is part of the game. I don't know, I would complain if I lost on time. He wants to go rook d6, but I have a feeling it's gonna lead to nix, as we say in German. No, he doesn't. He wants to go a4. I'll do something active. Threatening mate check. That is the correct term. Run! Nope. Not gonna be able to do it. It's annoying, right? He wanted to go a6, then the guy plays this move, and you can't go a6. And the guy plays this move, and you don't know what to do. Checkmate. Anticlimactic finish, but time was running out. Last game for today. I didn't say last game, but we've reached our monthly allowance. Let's play the last game. And following my recipe of clicking on the names in the list, it looks like our boy GB 2284 is the next in line, who has watched Making a Murderer and is now full of outrage about the beautiful state of Wisconsin. Is it Wisconsin? I think so. He might not be there though. Then we can all go home. Probably most of you guys are home, right? It's just me sitting here in the studio, because at home I can't do this fancy green screen where it looks like I'm floating in, I don't know, the middle of nowhere, some gray weirdness. No, but GB is not with us. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. Aborto. That means we're done for today. And I will come to my usual segment. I am sorry. What am I sorry about? I am sorry for the casual clothes. It's very warm in Germany. And one day I should get back to the more formal, more dapper suit and tie style I was rocking for all these years. I am sorry for the late starting time. I'm sorry for the weird delivery. I'm not wasted or high or anything, but I can fully understand if you gained that impression. I'm sorry if I did not get to choose you, even though you challenged me and you're a new premium member. We do quite a few of these shows, and I am sure you will get your chance very soon. I am sorry for my slurred speech, but that is kind of related to the previous apology. I'm sorry I could not answer all of your chess questions. I am sorry. I'm sorry I can't come up with any witty I'm sorries. I'm sorry if I spoiled any of your favorite TV shows today, but I think I said that in the introduction, and I also controlled myself. Now this is getting boring. Thank you guys for watching Go Premium. If you aren't already, then we can play next time around. These days, watch the British Chess Championships with Niklas Huschenbeit and Lawrence Trent. I will join Lawrence over the weekend, I believe on Friday and Saturday, and we can get into the whole Lawrence Trent controversy. I've seen many questions. We will work out our differences live on the air. It's gonna be like Dr. Phil. Thank you guys for watching this one. See you next time around. Good night and good night, good luck. It's not very chessy. Good night, bad bishop. And see you later. Bye-bye. Stay tuned, even though don't really stay tuned, because we're done. It's over. Go home.